you've been in comedy for so long, but your DNA never merged with Saturday Night Live, and then you get this gig to play Tim Walz during the run-up to the election. And so suddenly you're in the world of SNL, and it was kind of interesting to me because I thought, I want to get Jim's take on SNL because he's a really smart, funny guy, and I know that was something that would, everyone wants to check that bucket list off.
Absolutely.
So what was that like for you?
It was really interesting because that is one of the questions that, I've been doing stand-up or in the comedy thing for 35 years, and I never auditioned for SNL. I've never hosted, and it never lined up where it was a possibility. I think there was talk of me auditioning to be a writer, but at that time I was like, no, I want to be an actor. I want to be on the West Wing. And so I obviously, no, but I was
terrible instincts. Why Rob Lowe? What's he got that I don't got?
No, it is this, it's the ultimate graduate school of comedy, right? To go there's nothing that it's unique to the comedy business. I mean, it's a unique television show in that they, outside of Living Color and Mad TV, no one's even come close to replicating it. Probably financially doesn't make sense. And it's the impact on the zeitgeist. So it was a huge thing. I've always been aware that it's something that you don't campaign for.
Yep.
And so I'm respectful of the boundaries and kind of the cultural phenomenon that it is. So when she picked Tim Walz as her running mate, and then Steve Martin turned it down, the internet was bringing up like every doughy white Midwestern guy. And I was like interested, but I was like, well, I'm not, you can't campaign for it.
Yep.
You can't
You either get the call or you don't.
Yeah, you can't be like, hey, you know what I'm going to do is I'm going to go on Howard Stern and do my Tim Walz impression. You can't do that, right? And so I very much stood back. And then I would check in with my manager who would say, here's what they're thinking, but you're supposedly on a list. And again, there's nothing you can do on it. And so then I was in, I get one acting job a year. So I was in England doing this acting job. And at night I'm walking back to my hotel and I get a call from my manager and he's like, hey, so we've been telling people at the booker at SNL that you've been sending us little videos where you're pretending to be Tim Walz. And I'm like, oh, that's interesting. And he goes,
and you weren't.
And I wasn't. and so he was on with my manager and my agent. I'm like, oh, well, that's an interesting approach. But, this is what you guys do. And they're like, yeah, and now they want to see those. And I'm like, so what do you mean they want to see them? I'm like, well, we brought it up. And now they're like, why don't you send them over?
I'd be mad at this management team.
Then I spent the next hour kind of in my hotel room, taking off a jacket, putting on a thing, doing different. And I had kind of been, checking out Tim Walz and looking at speeches. And then in that moment, I just did an impression of my brother, Mitch, who is this, similar to Tim Walz, a very sincere, enthusiastic Midwestern guy who's kind of got a little bit of that golly gee. And so I essentially did an impression of my brother, Mitch, in a different settings in this England hotel, sent him off, and then, I don't know what happened, but it worked.
They hired your brother, Mitch.
Yeah. So when people are like, how do you do that impression? I'm like, well, just don't meet my brother, Mitch, and we should be fine.
Yeah. Grow up in Indiana.
Yeah, grow up in Indiana. Surround yourself with very sincere Midwestern people that have that optimism that Tim Walz has, which is like, we can do this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I mean, geez, come on, Jimmy. Like that's my brother Mitch. I mean, geez, Jimmy, God. I mean, Jimmy, you're a bad driver. Like my brother Mitch would just get so angry when I would drive.
He's even sweet when he's telling you bad things about yourself.
Yes, he's like a great guy. So that's what happened. But it was absurd because not only was I this opportunity to be on SNL, and it was just for 5 weeks, but then they bring in all these all-stars, right? So they bring in Maya, who I had worked with before, Dana and Andy, and I'm like, so not only am I doing this guest star, but like the MVP from every decade for the last 40 years. So it was stressful in an unnecessary way, where it's like, you know, I go on stage in front of huge rooms, but I was like, I have 2 lines. How do I do it? Yeah. So I was definitely a little nervous.
Yes. There's something about, I think it's easier to, if someone said to me, you've got to go out there and just talk for 40 minutes, I wouldn't be as nervous as if they said, okay, you've got this one line you have to say.
Absolutely.
Did you like the machinery of it being around? Because there's nothing else like it.
Yeah.
And I've always thought there is the carnival atmosphere of it, the machine aspect of it. It's Willy Wonka's factory. It's all these things that you grew up watching, and then suddenly you're inside it. And then there's the build up to the show.
Yeah.
There's the meeting between Dress and Air, and then after the show, there's a party. It's this whole Roman kind of crazy. It's like the Colosseum followed by the orgy. You're just, what's happening? This is madness.
It's insane every step of the way. So I remember I did the table read the first week. I guess that's on Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was like, all right, I know and I know that there's going to be a lot of changes. And then by the end, I would be like calling my point person at like 8 o'clock on Friday. I'm like, do we know what we're doing? And they're like, oh, I'm going to send it. It's just because it's the cold open and it was the election. So they were kind of, and so like, there were things where if you have an idea, you're looking at a writer who's been up for 4 days, who's also realizing there's the element of serving everyone in the cold open. There's also Lorne stuff. So it's a very complicated thing. So you're like, I don't want to be a pain in the ass. Like one of the things I kind of pride myself on is hopefully being a good soldier when I'm in a situation like that, because
do your part well, don't let anybody down.
Yeah, and not be the pain in the ass. So I kind of want to do that. But yeah, so that whole process of the bureaucracy, and maybe that's not the right term, but the process is so bananas that you also have to just go with the flow. And then the meeting in between the dress where Lorne would go up there and be like, don't touch your ear. And you're like, okay, all right, I won't touch. I didn't know I was touching my ear, but okay. And some of it is he's giving his notes. He's also this icon who obviously, like I realize now that he is the modern day equivalent of P.T. Barnum, right? The impact he has on the zeitgeist is so enormous. So he sits there and he goes, yeah, we're not going to do that. Or like things that I think people could judge as bizarre, but if you consider the history and the on-base percentage, the batting average, it's pure genius.
Yeah. It's funny because I think if someone could watch the process of how a sketch gets written and then it's read through, I do think it's Wednesday, as it gets read through on Wednesday, and then it gets to rehearsal, then it gets to the dress show, then there's that meeting beforehand, and then they select the sketches, finally they reorder it, and then there's the air show that happens. I think watching that process would make less sense than how they pick a pope at the Vatican.
Yeah.
I think there's more mystery, smoke signals, craziness.
Yeah.
Cardinals making crazy deals. Behind ancient walls. That would seem more normal than what happens at Saturday Night Live.
And I think there is also something of the resiliency that you need to process. I mean, you went through it, but the resiliency that these creative types, these people that are creative because they know how to react, listen to their emotions, or keep in touch with their point of view. But because I only did one table read. So like, I don't even know what day that is. And then also like the moving parts, like I think on the last episode, they did cuts. And then I think they had to cut a sketch mid-show.
Yeah, they do all the time.
Which is just like, how do you? Not happening.
No, I back in my day, I authored several of those sketches where I've called my parents and I've said it's about two, coal miners. Yeah. And their little bird that's with them, and then look for me because that's my sketch, and it's going to be on at 12:55, and my parents would be like, "Well, we're going to watch, yay!" My father was Ronald Reagan. Yeah.
Those Democrats with their taxes. We could use you up on Capitol Hill.
And then at 12:48, I'd see my card come off. Because other stuff went long, so my card would come off the board and go to the side of the board, which means there's this side of the board that's outside the grid where literally you see your card slipping beneath the waves. Wow. And so suddenly my parents the next day, well, we thought it was terrific. It wasn't on.
Yeah.
They are lying.
Yeah. Oh, no.
They went to bed at 9.
They went to bed at 9.
Yeah.
So anyway, I'm so happy that you got to have
that
experience. And I'll just put it out there. You'd be a perfect host for that show.
Oh,
and you are in the zeitgeist now, and they'd be lucky to have you. So, I mean, from my lips to Lorne's ears.
Well, I am standing back. I have no opinion on that. I have all
if nominated,
respect.
I will not serve.
I have all respect for the process.
The convention.
Right.
I will do as I'm told.